समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्. Okay, we are on verse 22 now, and so we read it first. Yehi sansparshaja bhoga dukkhayo evate adyantavanta kaunte. The enjoyments that are born of contact are only generators of pain, for they have a beginning and an end. O son of Kunti, the wise do not rejoice in them. Now, look at this. See, we all contact sense objects, and we all contact them thinking that they will give us joy, thinking that they will give us pleasure. But look what it says here. It says the enjoyments that are born of contact. Contact means you contacting the sense objects, any sense object, which includes people or different situations or different objects, whatever. But he says they are all generators of pain. So how come? Then you ask the question that, isn't watching a movie joyful? Isn't eating something really nice joyful? Isn't there any joy in a good cup of coffee? You ask those questions, right? So you like all those things. You want to see nice things. You want to hear nice things. You want to. So what is it? Why does he say that they are generators of pain? You see, the thing is that contacts in the world, Gurudev used to say, this is his sentence, contacts of the world guarantee pain. They guarantee pain. So then what is the answer? Should we stop enjoying anything? Should we stop eating? Should we stop watching movies? Should we stop doing anything that is pleasurable? Ice creams, wow. So many things that everybody keeps on asking. The reason he gives is that they are, what does he say? Adya Antavanta. That is the thing. Adya Antavanta. That means they have a beginning and they have an end. Experience from childhood to now. How many things you used to enjoy? How many things you have been running after? But you don't run after them now. Why? Because you have understood that there is really no joy in them. The joy comes from your desire for them. When you desire something very much and you get that, then you get the little bit of the joy. Now you see, Adya Antavanta, there is a very famous saying by Oscar Wilde. He says that in any desire, there are two things. One is getting it, and the other is not getting it. Right? Now, not getting it is a tragedy. Everybody says, oh, that's a big tragedy. I desired something so much and I never got it. That is a tragedy. But Oscar Wilde says that the latter is the greater tragedy. That is, getting it is the greater tragedy. Because, see, the moment you get something that you desired extremely, before you know it, before you have begun enjoying it, it already dies in your arms. The pleasure finishes right there. After that, you do not and you cannot feel the pleasure in those objects, right? So he says that the wise understand this very quickly. Because see, even while you are growing up, there are so many things that you have been running after as a kid, as a teenager, then as a young person, then as a middle-aged person. You run after many, many things, but you don't keep running after them all your life. You keep changing them, isn't it? Isn't it? Only in some mad people who are very, very old also, you still see them in those stupid New Year parties, blowing these pee pee, and having those dunce caps on their head and all that. I mean, how stupid they look. But they do that. They think that this is the done thing. And I can say that I had a very good New Year Eve. So, but they also understand that there is no joy in it, there is no pleasure in it, and they can never give happiness to you. Happiness that is permanent happiness. It's a kind of a sugar coated pill. You enjoy it very much, but the moment you begin enjoying it, the pleasure goes. The pleasure just runs away from there. And thereafter, many times it is bitter. So it is only that kind of thing that, Shreyas and Preyas wali baat, that, you enjoy it very much, it is priya to you, but then the aftertaste is very bitter. So then you leave it, you throw it. And see, like Gurudev gives the example of a leprous prostitute, all painted, wearing glittering garments and glittering jewels, and standing in the dark alleys of a small commercial town, you know. And in that town, she smiles in half darkness at every stranger who goes by. Tell me, which intelligent man would go for her, knowing that she is a prostitute, knowing that all her beauty is artificial, knowing that she goes from man to man, knowing that there is nothing permanent in her? Which man will go? So, the sense objects that you run after, Gurudev gives this very, very um, pertinent example of a leprous whore, leprous prostitute. That means you can even get disease from her. So just imagine. So all these sense objects are compared to this, that there is a false promise of joy. And then you run after these, you hunt all your life after sense objects. All your life you hunt after them. I want this, and I want this, and I want this. And half of them are not really your desires. They are generated desires, they are contracted desires from friends, from people. Somebody's house you saw so beautifully decorated. Oh, I should also do mine like this. And after some time, that one also changes the house, and you also then want to change the house, right? So why do you, and then that same thing becomes stale, that same thing becomes old, and it loses its newness, it loses its beauty, it loses its charm, isn't it? You have seen this with all kind of objects. So this promise of joy, where you hunt desperately, going from one gutter to another gutter, and that is all. You don't gain anything. But this is not understood by people most of the time. They hunting for complete satisfaction. They are hunting for permanent satisfaction, but they do not get it. It's not possible that they get it from these sense objects. So you want, then what is the answer to that? See, any young man, talk to any young man, he will say, listen, I want to enjoy life. I want to enjoy everything that life has to offer. But then what about the kicks that they give? Everything, the girl you ran after, good enjoyment, very nice togetherness, lovely time spent together, and then she kicks you and goes, or you kick her and go. So what about that then? Then you go into a depression, right? So you want to enjoy everything, but without the kicks, okay, without the sorrows, without the disappointments. So does the Gita provide you any cure for that? Does the Gita provide you any method by which you can enjoy all these objects and yet not get the after kick that it gives, right? So come to verse 23. Here it is. Shaknoti haivaya sodhum praksharira vimokshanat kama krodhodbhavam vegam sayukta sasukhi naraha. It says, he who is able while still here. Okay, this is an important thing. Please note, while still here. That means while still living, while still in the world. It is him, as they say. So he who is able, while still here in this world, to withstand before the liberation from the body. Liberation from the body, death. Hmm? Translated as death. So, before liberation from the body, the impulse born out of desire and anger is a yogi. He is a happy man. So, who is a yogi? This is here another definition. The definition is that even while the man is living, if he is able to withstand, that means control, be in total control of desire and anger. These are the two things mentioned here, desire and anger. See, desire also and anger also have the same quality. You know, the texture is the same. In fact, many masters say it is the same thing in a different form. Okay. Now, see, desire, when you get desire, right, and very, very strong desire, it is like a storm of thoughts in your mind that pulls you, that storm sweeps you off your feet towards the object of desire, and you go all out to achieve that. Now, while you are trying to achieve that, there comes in a hurdle, right? Now, that hurdle, just like those Hindi movies, you know, the hero running after the heroine, and then there comes a villain. And that villain is a dreadful chap who brings hurdles in the hero's way. Now, what happens to the hero? His desire ricochets like a bullet from the object hurdle of, from the object of desire to the hurdle, and he is angry. His whole anger is diverted from the object of desire to the object of the one that is stopping it. And that always happens. So, of what use is this kind of knowledge to us? See, the question is, what use is this kind of knowledge to us? Why should we control our desire and anger? It is not possible. We have tried it many times and we fail every time. And understand that this is, no desire and no anger is not the description of you and me. It is the description of a perfect master. So, till you reach there, you will have desire. Till you reach there, you will have anger. But the idea is, to whatever degree you can control these two, to that degree you have won over life. Believe me, you don't get those kind of hard kicks. You do not go into depression. You are able to school your mind. You are able to calm your mind, whether you get the object or you don't get the object. Even when you get the object, you have this permanent knowledge that this is Adya Antavanta, that this is going to finish, it is not going to last. So you enjoy it with a distance in your mind. Yeah. So it is as it is, we have animal minds and it is very difficult for us to control these kind of vague, jisko kehte hain, vague. It has so much of force. Desire has so much of force. Anger has so much of force. Now, both these qualities have one thing in common. Before you know that you have a desire, you already are into it. And before you know that you have anger, you are already off the handle. You fly off the handle. When you are halfway through anger, then somebody tells you, cool it, calm it. And then you slowly, slowly bring your anger down. Because if you have any little bit of also knowledge of the Gita, you will immediately try and calm down. That is the beauty of this knowledge. So it does not happen overnight. Don't think that overnight you will be able to control anger and desire. You can't. It is very, very slow process, and extremely slowly can you achieve divinity. You are a mortal and you succumb to desire, and you succumb to. Gurudev used to say that we are like animals. It is a pity that we do not have a tail. That is what he used to always say. Now, how can we achieve this divinity? Since it is so difficult, can we even try? Is it even possible? Is it even possible? That is what people ask. That is very nice to advocate this whole idea. And we understand the idea. It is very logical. Yeah, sure. If you don't have desire and you don't have anger, what a cool life. Greatly cool life. You enjoy everything that comes your way, but without getting the sorrow, isn't it? That is very difficult. So, a young person asks, is it even possible? Is it possible to do it? All our scriptures say, the Gita, the Upanishads, everybody, they say that man can live that perfect joy. This is the promise. Man can live this perfect joy, and the only thing is that the boat of life cannot be sunk by the ocean waters. If you allow water to seep into the boat, only then the boat will drown, right? Otherwise, what happens? You are afloat on the waters, and it is a beautiful ride. It is a beautiful, beautiful ride. So then there is a hole in the boat from which the water is seeping in, and slowly, slowly the boat is sinking. What is that hole? That hole is me and mine. Carefully. The moment you have me and mine, it is the hole from which the waters in the sea are slowly, slowly seeping into your boat, filling it with the water, and your boat will sink. Okay. Now, how, if the whole is me and mine? So, what exactly is that me and mine? Just let's come to this. We won't allow the water to come in. Okay, let's plug the hole of me and mine. Fine. But what exactly is this me and mine? Tell me. When you are in deep sleep, do you have any idea of me or mine? No. When you are in a dream state, do you know who you really are? Do you know you so much identify with the dream personality that you think you are the dreamer? You absolutely believe that you are the dreamer, totally 100%, isn't it? So then, where is your world there? Where are all the things that you call mine in your waking stage? Where is the my personality? Not there. So in these two stages, the me and my disappears. Okay. Now, what about the waking stage? Okay. Now, in the waking stage, the me and mine is there. So, what exactly is it? It is a self creation through your own thoughts. Your thoughts create this idea of me and mine which is the ego. You can call it the ego, you can call it the persona. Persona means the personality. See, the word persona is come from the Greeks, when they used to do plays, and that persona means mask, actually. So the Greeks used to put on that mask and impersonate a character, right? From that is all these words: personality, persona, and person. All these words are from that word persona. So that persona is an artificial identity. It is not you. Think about it. So the me and mine is a persona which your thoughts create for you. What is your individuality? You think you are artistic, you think you are very clever, you think you are beautiful, ugly, dark, fair, fat, thin, whatever you think. So you think, right? So, and don't the thoughts change? If it is a creation of your thoughts, the thoughts keep changing your personality, isn't it? You yourself, your ideas about yourself also keep changing, isn't it? Mm. You thought of yourself differently. Now you think of yourself differently. As you age and grow older, you will think of yourself even differently. So the persona changes. Now, come to think of it, my is with relation to you. Anything, supposing I say my table. Okay, this is my table. So the table is with relation to me. Okay, that is the my belonging. Now, when you calculate belonging, you calculate from a permanent point. Even in algebra, don't you say x, this distance is so many kilometers from x. So you calculate from x. Now, when that x is not there, you are not sure about that x, whether it will remain or not. When you are not sure about the changing of the x into y or z, you don't know, right? So your personality keeps on changing and your me and my keeps on changing. So how can you calculate the me and my? It is an ever changing phenomena. The me and my is an ever changing phenomena. A wife is a wife with relation to the husband. Supposing the husband walks out on her, it's a divorce. She does no longer remain a wife, isn't it? She becomes the ex. Hasn't it changed? Or she marries somebody else, then she becomes his wife. So understand that this my word is a word that goes on changing because my belongs to me and changing. So my thoughts go on changing, my idea of everything goes on changing. So it is a changeable phenomena. Understanding that this is also Adyantavanta, plug it, stop it. If you are intelligent, if you are wise, understand that neither are you there nor the objects that belong to this body are there, or this mind and intellect so goes on changing. So wo to hai hi nahi. If you think the body is a permanent there, at least there for 90 years, I'm going to live till 90. If you think that this body is kind of permanent, okay, this body also changes. The body's likes and dislikes change, isn't it? So you have got to understand that this is a very, very illusory identity. Me, mine is an illusory identity. Please plug it so that the oceanic waters of the world do not come into your boat and sink the boat. Have a joyful boat ride. Now, how does one do that? Because it's not very easy. You believe that you are what you are. You firmly believe. And you believe in your permanence also. When you hear of somebody's death, as these days with COVID, you go on hearing of so many deaths, you always feel that one died, that one died, that one died. I am the watcher of all these deaths and I am permanent. Never for a minute do we understand that death does not generally give a notice when it comes. It just arrives. It doesn't even ring the call bell. It just arrives. And you have to say hello to it. So then the others will say, oh, ho, ho, that one, oh, she's dead. She's dead and she's gone. Right? That's all. A small little newspaper cutting. That also may be or may not be. These days, they're not even a prayer meeting because no hall can be hired, no people can come. Right? So that's the end of you. You only remain a name in the memory of very few people. And when those people also go away, then even that name is gone. So, what is that me and mine? Think about it. Think about it. So, when you calculate all your pleasures, all your joys from the viewpoint of me and mine, and that me and mine really does not exist, it is an illusion. So, then plug that, block that. And but how does one do it? Anna? It's not easy. Gurudev gives the example of a violin, an old violin that his grandfather had, and he used to play it, I believe, and he left it. Now it has collected dust. Think of any musical instrument, right, in your house. What do you have to do it if after years and years you want to play on it? You have to first dust it clean, wipe it clean. After that, you have to tune it, maybe professionally get it oiled and tuned and everything. And then you have to try and play it. That playing will also not be perfect in the beginning. Slowly, slowly, the old instrument will come into its own and start playing out as it plays, right? So, this is what you have to do to the mind and intellect, because you have to learn to withstand the strong impulses of desire and anger. So, first step is the purification of the mind and intellect. The tuning up of the mind and intellect happens with knowledge. Geeta is the one that gives you that knowledge. Upanishads are the ones that give you that knowledge. All religions, all textbooks give you, they talk only about God and tell you who you actually are. You are that divine reality. You are that divine power. And that is what they tell you. So you have to tune up your mind to believing that you are that and not this impermanent flesh and bones. Now, it looks simple. It is said simply. It looks very simple, right? This is a very deep psychological truth. Desire and anger are the same thing. Desire and anger are the same thing. Now, desire turns into anger when desire is thwarted. Same desire. So, the stronger the desire, the stronger the anger when it is thwarted. The lesser the desire or milder the desire, the lesser the anger. Right? When something which is not very expensive and you don't even like it falls from your hand and breaks, then what do? You say, oh, good riddance to bad rubbish, right? Don't you say that? Because the desire to keep that thing or to possess that thing or to shine it and keep it every day is not there with you. So, no anger, no desire, no anger. Less desire, less anger. Strong desire, more anger. It's as simple as that. Because it's the same thing. It is the same thing. See how desire turns into anger. I'll give you an example. The family has to go for a movie. Okay. The youngsters are after you. You also come, you come, you come. And it's a children's movie. You don't want to go and waste 2 hours, 3 hours watching a children's movie. But the children are after you. No, no, come, come, come. You have to come, you have to come. Okay. So you are also get ready to go. Okay. Now in that family, there is one person who is getting late and not getting ready on time to leave for the movie hall. Now there is an intense desire in the rest of the family to go to that movie. Okay. Now this one person who's getting late is thwarting that desire, is like a hurdle in that desire. Because if you go late, you will not even get the tickets, isn't it? So that desire turns into anger. The person who is making everybody else late, everybody starts shouting on that person. You the one, you making it late, we won't even get the tickets, this, that. And then all your anger goes on to that person or not. So see, the anger hits out at the hurdle. Desire turned into anger hits out at the person. So but if you are able to master your desire, there will be no anger, and you will live a free man. You will be free from desire. You will be free from anger. You will enjoy everything that comes your way. You will enjoy everything given to you. You will enjoy everything that you acquire, but without this. Okay. Now then, let's come to the next verse. Now we will do both the verses together because they are connected, right? So the 24th verse and the 25th verse we will read. Come. यो अंत सुखो यो अंत सुखो अंतराम तथा तथांतर ज्योतिर एव यः स योगी ब्रह्म निर्वाण ब्रह्म भूतो धिगच्छति ब्रह्म भूतो धिगच्छति. It says, he who is happy within, who rejoices within, who is illuminated within, that yogi attains absolute freedom or moksha himself, becoming Brahman. And the next verse says, Labhante Brahma Nirvanam Rishaya Kshina Kalmasha Chinna Dvedha Yatatmanah Sarvabhuta Hiterataha. This is, those rishis obtain absolute freedom or moksha whose sins have been destroyed, whose dualities are torn asunder, who are self-controlled and intent on the welfare of all beings. These two verses are very, very interesting. See, he who is happy within and who rejoices within. Most of us are not. We are happy only when we run after something and we get that thing. That causes happiness to us. ठीक है ना? So he says, see, to a fool, people like us, to a fool, the only joy is different combinations of food, different combinations of clothes, different combinations of women and wine. That is all his idea of joy. He knows no other joy. And he spends his entire precious life doing combinations of these things. Now I'm wearing this dress, now I'm wearing that dress, now this is the fashion, let me buy that. He wastes his whole life wearing different kinds of dresses. He wastes his whole life in changing women or men or partners This one will give me happiness. No, no, this one is useless. Now I marry this one. This one will give me happiness. That one is worse than the other. And then you marry another, and that is how. So different women, different men, also different food. All these restaurants in your city are doing business on this only, that you want different combinations of food. You want different combinations of wine. This is a new wine. This has been brewed like this. This has been matured for so many years in a dungeon where there was no light. This is a beautiful wine. It has this flavor, that flavor. It belongs to this region. There, the spring water is different. That is all. But isn't it just wine? How many wines you might try, how many women, how many foods, how many kinds of dresses, but ultimately what? This is all that you know that joy is about, because you do not know higher joy. ठीक है ना? So then what happens? The youngster asks that who wants to become a chap like this, that who has no desire, who has no anger, who has no enjoyment of anything outside? And he will ask, because understand, please understand, that a youngster asks the same thing to a person who has evolved like a child. If a child asks you, he's pitying daddy and he's wondering at daddy, and he says, Daddy, you don't like lollipop? Daddy, oh daddy, you do not enjoy balloons, playing with balloons? Oh my god, I pity you, daddy. I don't want to be like you. And the child says also to him, Daddy, you don't enjoy toy cars? Daddy, you do not. Then he asks, Mummy, you don't enjoy dolls? How come you don't enjoy dolls? Because the child is at that age where he enjoys all these things. But a grown up person, an adult, from whom these petty, small desires, childlike desires have dropped, he has grown into maturer toys. He has grown into diviner joys. Believe me, even the smallest joy and peace that you can taste in meditation, if you can taste that, even a little bit, you will yourself want to go to it again and again and again, desiring that same joy, that same peace, that same perfect joy that you experience in meditation. But a small taste of it you have to get. Otherwise, you will never leave your immature toys. You will go on using those. A father who can now buy a Mercedes is not going to play with the toy car, isn't it? Think about it. It is about the evolution of a human being, and the petty desires of old. You don't have to make effort to leave them. It is not a tyag. They drop off on their own. And you wish you could still play with the things you were playing with before, but you cannot, because you do not see the joy in them at all. You see higher joys. You want better joys. And that is what happens to a person who is able to control his anger, able to control his desire, and able to mature into this. Now, see, this is not Krishna's original idea. He has borrowed these ideas. All that Krishna is talking here are directly from the Vedic lore, as Gurudev says. They are from the Upanishads. And all these words that he uses over here, देखो ये क्या क्या word use करते हैं? Brahma Nirvanam, Kshina Kalmasham, and all these that he uses. Kshina Kalmasham, Kalmasham is without any trace of dirt, without any kalik. That means without any sins. A person who's pure, without any sins, is uske kshina kalmasham. That means the Kalik has left him. He is clarified, he is pure. Huh? And Brahma Nirvanam, after gaining Brahma Nirvanam, that means attaining the supreme joy. Dekho, this word nirvana also I have explained in some class earlier, but to refresh your memory, I will explain again. Van has got, Van, the word Van, one it means arrow. बाण बाण जानते हैं इसको आप लोग बाण कहते हैं बाण is arrow. Also बाण is also a flame. You know, the tip of a flame is also called van. And the tip of the flame, if you analyze it, it looks like one, but it's not one. It is thousands of tiny little lights going up, and that becomes the flame. Also the same root as vani. By using it wrongly, while using it wrongly, you can hurt people, just like arrows. Your vani becomes a vana if it is used badly, and your vani becomes a veena if musical, beautiful notes flow out of it. That gives so much of joy to people. That gives so much of peace to people. So this is the same root. Just remember that. I'm giving you these different examples. This is the same root. When you say nirvana, it means minus all the arrows that prick you. All the little pinpricks of life, when they are washed off, when they are gone from you, that is called nirvana. Total peace, total joy. That is nirvana. So here he calls it Brahma Nirvana, right? Now Brahma Nirvana, Brahma is the ultimate reality. It is the name in the Upanishads for the ultimate reality. So when you are in tune with the ultimate reality, then you are Kshina Kalmasham also. That means without any trace of any sin, pure, and also very, very joyous, very beautiful, very, very nice. You have become one with Anand. The mind and intellect is dissolved into this great, grand vision of the divine reality. And therefore, the mind and intellect and its little programs and plans for getting joy are not there at all. You see? So then, a man of perfection is not like you and me. ये जो डिस्क्रिप्शन दिया है इन दोनों वर्सेस में, that sukho antaratma, that means he is atmena atmana tushtah. He is santushta in his atma. He doesn't want. A beggar is created only through want, through desire. If there is no desire, you are never going to ask, you are never going to beg for anything. If it comes your way, well and good. Doesn't come your way, well and good. You are still happy. The fulfillment of the desire does not add an iota to your happiness. You are yourself completely happy, completely satisfied. You are full. Dekho, when a cup is full, if you, supposing there is a glass full of juice, completely full, to the brim full, does it want anything more to be poured into that? No. Because if you pour anything more, it will only fall out. He doesn't need it. It's not required. Right? So then, it is not an... then people say another thing, especially youngsters. They say, what a life. ये भी कोई life है. No desire, no hunger for anything, no running after anything. I don't want to live like this. You see, now They say, how boring. This must be a very dull life, very boring life. And the man of realization must be like a dead man, like a madman walking on the streets, right? Who has got no desire even to dress up smartly. So he is shabbily dressed, he's got matted hair, he may have not eaten for days, and he's roaming around begging for food. Who wants to be this kind of a man? See, this was the great misunderstanding of even the people of the Vedic era, and it continued till now because till masters like Vivekananda, Ramana Maharishi, Swami Chinmayananda, these are the kind of people who have brought out into the open the secrets hidden in our own scriptures, which we do not realize. A man of realization is not like this. He is not like a stone sitting on the Ganges begging for food. No, no, he is not. That is the degeneration of Hinduism and degenerative understanding, misunderstanding of the Hindu texts. That is not Hindu text. Look what this fifth one says. He says, verse 25, it says, what does this man then do? Huh? When he has gone beyond duality also, huh? That means it doesn't matter to him what happens. Why should he do so much tapasya? To become a walking dead man? Why should he do that much tapasya? This is it. No, he does not walk like a dead man. He goes into the selfless, joyous palace of perfection. He has so much of joy in him that why should he run after a toy car or a balloon or this or that? Why should he run after what other lesser human beings like you and me are running after? He doesn't need to. So the Geeta clearly says, but then what does this man do? वो करता क्या है? After he becomes realized, desire तो है नहीं कोई, है ना? तो what is he going to do? That is the question people ask. Dekho, the answer is in the verse 25. Look what he says. After that, only joyously sarva bhuta hite rataha. He works only for the welfare of the world. Sarva bhuta hite, not my family, not just my family. We are very petty. Our scope of working is so narrow. Me, my son, my husband, my wife, my children, my house, my car, वहीं तक बस. उसके आगे दुनिया है ही नहीं. And this dunya, this temporary dunya lasts for such a short while. And after that, even the family members forget you. You are just a picture on the wall, which they once in a year garland. That is all. And that is true. So then what does this man do then after he becomes like this? He is sarva bhuta hite rataha. Lok seva is his entire entertainment. He does not hunger for things, he does not die for things. Things come to him, they come to him automatically. There is the divine feeding him. There is the divine, and that is why the divine feeding him, ye yaad rakhna, see, when you give a bhiksha to a realized master, if a realized master or a master who's who is at a very, very high level, if you feed that master, the scriptures say that you have fed the whole world. Why do they say that? Because he is in total attunement with the Supreme. He is the Supreme only functioning through this matter equipment. So when he is just the Supreme, he looks like you and me. He behaves like you and me. He talks like you and me. And you wonder, where is the divinity in him? But the divinity in him is a divinity which calls for total, he is totally selfless, no wants, always gurgling with joy. You see Swami Chinmayananda, He used to always be laughing, always be bursting with joy. Everything was joy. And being near him was joy, believe me. To be anywhere within a radius, they radiate happiness, they radiate joy. You feel it? And so, what do? Their whole time occupation is sarva bhuta hite rataha. The word rataha means reveling in. They enjoy doing it. It is their full time entertainment. It is their full time joy to help anyone who comes to them. And you may have heard, anybody who goes to these great masters or has been in contact with great masters, his life has changed to a very, very joyous, very, very beautiful life. He drops his old petty self. He drops, all the vulgarity, the pettiness of his minds, all gone. And you see him change. The beauty of these going anywhere near these masters. Ramana Maharshi says that coming anywhere in contact with these kind of masters is the effect is infallible. You cannot stop it. Like if you put your hand in the fire, it is a law that your hand will get burnt, isn't it? Whether you want it to be burnt or not want it to be burnt is not the question. If you even accidentally put your hand in the fire, it will burn. Similarly, when you near any one of these realized masters, the impact that they have on your life and on you is infallible. They flood your life with joy, they change your personality, they change your destiny. And that is what they love doing, because see, sarva bhuta hite rataha. Rata means reveling in, they enjoy doing it. They are all the time engrossed in doing that alone. So he does not become a useless man or something. That was the misunderstanding even during the Vedic period, even during the Vedic times, that he becomes a caveman, somewhere living in the Himalayas, not in contact with anybody, and begging for his food, dirty, filthy, can't even change his clothes because he has done. So, this kind of life of unintelligent living is not what is meant by the Gita. It very clearly specifies this, that such a master is joyous, he is sinless. All these epithets, आप ये देखो, Brahma Nirvana, he speaks sweetly, he changes people's lives. Kshina Kalmasha, Kshina Kalmasha, without any flaw in him. And Chinna Dvedha is gone beyond duality. Yatatmanaha. And he rests in his Atma, and his whole time occupation is Sarva Bhuta Hite Rataha, selflessly serving the world. So, this much for today. Next time we will do the next verse. ॐ पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम